Hello everyone, welcome to today's live questions and answers with Magdalena. We've been having a bit of, okay, it says that it's live, so it should be working. Had a bit of a problem getting online, but it should be good now. Okay, so, today is our last day of filming here in Vancouver in our studio. And yeah, so it's like half a day today. We've been doing it non-stop for 12 days, and I have to tell you, I'm done. So I think so is the team, because they've been the ones on their feet 10 to 12 hours a day, and after the shoot still running around getting more props and stuff like that. And I've been running my business from a hotel room and the couch here at the studio. So some of you might have seen the behind the scenes on my blog post. I did post a link on our Facebook page, and yeah, it's a beautiful studio. I'm gonna wait for a little bit more people to come and join us, and then I'll show you something we are prepping up today, which kind of ties into the theme for the topic for today. I want to talk about which is the 20 superfoods that help to rebalance your hormones. They're going to be a big part of my book, so I wanna cover that in today's call. Hi Judy there from IA. I don't know what IA stands for, so enlighten me. Say hello, tell me where you're from, and tell me whether is this your first time you're here on Hormones Balance. Rob and Keith, hello there. Yeah, so tell me whether are you new or have you been following me for a while? I'm always curious about that, because it kind of helps me decide on the content, whether repeat some of the things in the past and point you to certain resources. From Iowa, Judy. Okay, cool. We don't have that many people from Iowa. From LA, so I don't know, it's either Los Angeles or it's gonna be Louisiana. Robin from Illinois. Well, welcome to the call, you guys. So yeah, so typically, we do those live questions and answers where you ask me questions and you're gonna keep them short and I'll get to them. And a lot of times I pick a theme that I talk about something very specific and I wanna dive deeper into because it might be really interesting for you. Yeah, so how many of you have been, were here last week? Cheryl from Long Island, hi there. How many of you have seen the studio from last week? And if you haven't yet, to tell me that, just say I haven't seen it yet, and I'll show you around. Just want to build up a bit of an audience in a couple of minutes, and then we'll get there. Hi there from Georgia, very long name. Susan from New York, hi there. Awesome, you guys. So, I'm just gonna tell you, we had a night out with the crew last night, and so, and then this morning I had to get up at 5:30 in the morning to do a call. And Judy's saying she hasn't seen it yet. Great. So what do you do when you have a bit of like haven't slept enough, you want to get a little bit refreshed? I'm curious if you use any essential oils that are working really well for you. I love to use, I've got two always in my purse that are lifesavers for me, and that's the peppermint and frankincense. It's something that I really love. I just feel like I just rub it here on my temples, and then behind the ears and behind my neck here, and it just feels so refreshing. It feels like almost having a shot of coffee without the caffeine. So we've got a bit of an audience already. I'm gonna show you around a little bit about the studio if you guys want to see what it looks like to shoot a cookbook. And so we've been doing this, like I said, for 12 days straight. Today's the last day. And then we can, and I'll show you the table. So I'm gonna move around with my tripod. Cheryl, I think, has seen the studio already, so some people haven't. Let me turn the camera around. You can see this. So this is where all the food preparations are happening, and we have one dedicated person who's just doing nothing else but food preps. You can see these vegetables on the table here. We're gonna be shooting a collage of pictures, collage of foods that are gonna be all the cruciferous vegetables. As you know, they are one of the superfoods. Our fridge, as you can see, is super packed but really well organized as well. Everything is very clearly labeled. This is the beautiful studio, and we've got Sophie, who's been prepping up all the food for us, working here with Gabrielle, who's the photographer behind all these beautiful photographs that are coming out. So I just want to show you, today we are plating. You want to tell us what we're plating?
Right, this is, we're doing superfood collage.
Superfood collage,
yeah,
right?
and
there's
fun.
There's actually 20 of them, and I'll tell you about them in a second.
Yeah.
So what Gabrielle is doing here is he's arranging them in a collage. So it's gonna look, it might not look like very much on the board when I'm showing it to you here, but as you can see, camera and lenses can do something really amazing. And then it ends up being, this is work in progress, right? It just looks, you can see how much sharper this looks on, and this is just 1/3 done.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so and Sophie has been the person behind in the kitchen prepping all the food, and she's a blogger as well. She's got a vegan blog going on. There's a lot of likes coming through. Some of you have met Stefan. He's been doing a lot of the editing and setup of the camera. And yeah, so we've got this really nice fireplace going on here sometimes too, except there's no fire right now. Very, very rainy, gloomy Vancouver. But you know, actually the funny that from a photography perspective is actually really good to have a gloomy day, because it is a natural diffuser of light, and that way we don't have to do a lot of setups for photography to diffuse the light. So it's actually really, really good. Yeah, so that's the little behind the scenes. So you guys saw a couple of those superfoods on the board there. I'm going to talk a little bit about those and ask you, for those of you who've been following me for a while, what comes to mind like when I say superfoods for your hormonal health? What do you think they are? And my book is going to be covering 20 superfoods, and then we're going to have also 20 super herbs and spices. So let's take a little bit of a poll here. What do you think are the 20 superfoods that are beneficial for hormonal health? And it's just not just hormones, but it's, as you know, hormones is like the outcome of a really balanced body, right? I always talk about digestion, liver function, sugar levels are the 3 body systems that really help to set the foundation for good hormonal health. So what do you think those foods are? Let's see those comments coming in and see whether you guys can get those right. There's 20 of them to choose from, so you already saw some of them on the board there, right? So let's see. Turmeric, Susan says. Yes, absolutely. I'm actually have sprouts and ginger. Yes. Actually, turmeric and ginger are both going to be under super herbs and spices. So a lot of people are saying turmeric. Yes. Do we have turmeric there on that one? No, right? Because we photographed the super spices last night, and that's where they're going in. Lemons, yes, Susan. Ginger, absolutely. Janice is saying maca. Yes, that's one of them as well. Chia. I didn't really use chia here. We use flaxseed. Because of the seed rotation, we're using flaxseed and pumpkin seeds for the follicular phase, the first part of your cycle, and then you switch over to sesame seeds and sunflower seeds to promote progesterone production. Alex is saying broccoli sprouts. Absolutely. So I left out chia because because it's we're using the other seeds for hormonal balancing. But you're right, chia is so wonderful, and it's a wonderful food. I just had to pick those 20, right? Robin Keith is saying flax seeds. Yes, absolutely. That's one of them. What else? Stephanie Silken from Ohio. Hello there. All right. Garlic. Yes, it's definitely Alex Whitmer saying absolutely. Garlic and onions are full of sulfur, and that helps the sulfation pathway. So it's kind of interesting. In the liver, broccoli, cabbage, yes, Greg and Rachel Taylor. Yes, so cruciferous vegetables, very true. We're going to be doing a whole collage of just cruciferous vegetables there, sitting there on a counter. That's going to be our last shoot for the day and for this whole book. So it's interesting, like the sulfation pathway in the liver, certain hormones and toxins need another molecule to attach themselves to in order to be evacuated in your poop. That's how we get rid of toxins. And sulfur is one of the substances that is definitely very beneficial, and it helps to the sulfation pathway, which gets rid of heavy metals, pesticides, estrogen, progesterone. Judy's saying pomegranate. Yes, definitely. Great one. Yeah, we've got that one happening. In fact, why don't I, nope, well, let's do something else. Show it to you. That's what Gabrielle is doing actually right now. And by the way, those are some of the remaining props. The guys have packed up a lot of things last night already. Sally's asking, should I be doing seed rotation even if postmenopausal? Yes, it definitely is going to help. A lot of people think that, women think that you don't have hormones anymore when you're in menopause. If you did not produce hormones, you would not be alive. It's as simple as that. So you do have hormones, you still produce them, just in lesser quantities. Charlene is saying fermented foods. Yes, that's a great one, except that we focus on the foods itself, not the process of fermentation in this particular case. But yes, you're right, they are super beneficial. So can you see, guys, how it's coming nicely together, it's getting filled up. And those are the pomegranates that somebody mentioned just now. Aren't they just beautiful? One of the reasons why I love pomegranates is because they do look like women's ovaries, you know, like they look at these eggs that, I don't know, they somehow, to me, they're very representative of female health, women's health. Almonds and coconuts, yes, definitely. Those are some of the almonds I'm not really treating as a superfood, but coconut, yes, for sure. It is one of the goodies. So, am I stressing you out?
No, not at all.
No, Gabrielle is not easy to stress out or embarrass. He is very confident. So, Sally's saying, I love your combination of foods that taste so good together. And no, they just don't just taste good, they look good, don't they? I mean, just like if you look at something like that, right? Just how beautiful it looks. So let's come on over here and take a look at how the collage is coming together on the screen. Somehow the lens always makes it look so much more beautiful.
Right.
Isn't it just absolutely amazing? And the pomegranates look a little dark here, but then there is always some magic that Stefan is gonna pull and out of the bag and just make everything look so vibrant. Yeah, so Alex is saying she saw Brazil nuts. Brazil nuts because they're full of selenium, and selenium is something that most of us are very deficient in. Super important for hormonal health, for thyroid health, but also essential with production of progesterone. And so if you do just 4 Brazil nuts a day, that gives you the 200 milligrams of selenium that's really required to be in good shape. Do you use all the different 5 tastes with your food? Sally's asking. You know, are you talking about like sweet, bitter, pungent, all that kind of salty, that kind of differentiation? You know, there's so many ways of dissecting food. No, I don't, because it just adds additional complexity, and I like to keep simple. But having said, you know, you can also go with colors, right? I go more with the medicinal properties of these foods, and I think if you look at that board, there's a combination of many of them. There's another collage we just shot last night, which was all about seaweed. Right? Stefan, is the seaweed picture something we have on this computer?
We have it on this one here.
Would you mind pulling it up? So Winnie's going to show you the seaweed collage, which is also beautiful. So I think it's an interesting point that you brought up just now about the 5 combinations, the 5 flavors of food. So definitely there is sweet, right, from the oranges, from the pomegranate, for example. There is going to be salty from the seaweed that I'm going to show you in a second. There's definitely pungent, yeah. So I think it's a kind of a nice combination of flavors too. Robin is asking, do you still get the same benefit by drinking pomegranate juice? Great question. Yes, the answer is yes. In fact, in India and Iran, women who are trying to get pregnant, who are having some difficulty getting pregnant, do drink a pomegranate juice a day to help them get pregnant. So the answer is yes. I'm going to show you just quickly the seaweed photo that we shot last night. Is it fully edited yet? Is this?
Yeah, we'll just be cropping the bottom.
I'll be cropping, but just want to show you. Let me just come in a little bit closer here. Not a tripod. So this is our seaweed, and what you see is right on top here is one of the seaweeds called arame. This one here, which is my absolute favorite, is kombu, also known as kelp, which you will find in a lot of my bone broths. Are using that as well as vegetable broths. This one here is my absolute favorite in salads, called dulse, D-U-L-S-E. Very quickly rehydrated. This one is nori. This is cut up. Typically you get it in big sheets, and it's wonderful in wrapping up food, like just making your own wrap at home without using, you know, processed flours and pita breads and like that kind of stuff. And the last one here is wakame. which is also used a little bit similar to kombu, but also goes really well with salads. Every one of these, thank you. Every one of these seaweed different properties, but most of them are very high in magnesium and high, and especially kombu is very high in iodine, which a lot of women tell me they feel wonderful after having a bone broth with kombu. And if that is you, that's because probably you might be having iodine deficiency. And so we have the highest number of receptors for iodine we have is in a brain and a breast tissue in women. And so, you know, a lot of times women drink a broth that's full of iodine, or it's got kombu in it, and the kombu transfers over all the nutrients over to the broth. Then you suddenly feel really sharp in your head, and you've got this sense of vibrancy, and it's because of the iodine that's found in the kombu, right? So, as you can see, these seaweeds there's going to be a number of recipes, probably about 8 different recipes in my cookbook that use seaweed in different ways. Some of them, it's more prominent, some of it is more hidden. I know it's a little bit of an acquired taste. Not everybody is used to seaweed if you haven't grown up in an Asian family. But through the cookbook, I want to teach you how to incorporate these foods into your life. So Greg and Rachel Taylor, I guess it's Rachel that's asking that question, with all these foods aid in gut repair as well? Absolutely. The answer is absolutely yes. Bone broths, first of all, the gut repair happens, when you remove a lot of the very allergenic and triggering foods, right? So the cookbook is completely free of gluten, dairy, corn, soy, nightshade vegetables. It's got no eggs, and I'm also removing majority of sugar. It's gonna be hardly any sugar. So all of those things help to heal the gut. On the other hand, you wanna add things in to help you heal, and things like bone broth, a lot of fermented vegetables, is all gonna be part of it. So yeah, so you guys were really good at guessing what the foods are. Let me read out the whole list to you so that we can start incorporating these foods into your diet on your end. So the full list is cruciferous vegetables and flaxseed, sesame seeds, sunflower seeds, and pumpkin seeds, which you guys already know from seed rotation, pomegranates, which you saw, and then we have walnuts that are hugely rich in omega-3s and really great for brain health. Gelatin, so that's kind of connected to bone broth. Camu, which is a Peruvian berry that's full of vitamin C, highest food in vitamin C in the world, actually. Another one I've got here is ghee, which is clarified butter. So clarified means that you're removing the particles containing casein or lactose. A lot of people think that just because butter is clarified, a ghee is safe for people with dairy intolerance. In fact, we've got somebody on set here who's got a dairy sensitivity, and he couldn't do ghee. It was making him sick, and that's because that ghee wasn't certified dairy-free. So you can do ghee, but you're gonna make sure that it has to be triple filtered, and then the packaging says dairy-free, truly dairy-free. My favorite brand go-to is Tin Star Foods. You can get them on Amazon or on Thrive Market. It's just, I've worked with people who are super sensitive to dairy, and they could handle that. So, they did really well. The reason why I put that is as ghee, as one of the superfoods, is because ghee is a wonderful source of cholesterol, which is the precursor for all your steroid hormones. So imagine, right? Cortisol, progesterone, estrogen, DHEA, testosterone, pregnenolone, right? All of those hormones are made out of. Hi Sabrina, hello there. Sally's asking, are you going on a book tour, doing a virtual lunch we can promote, or both? Oh, thank you, Sally. I am going to be doing a book tour to some extent. I'm not going to be doing bookshops per se, because it's not a very smart way of promoting a book. But I am going to be doing some kind of a book tour in some of the major cities, because I do want to meet my readers. So Sally's saying, don't forget to add teas to your book. Love the ones you've recommended. Just looking at Gabrielle, we got reminded not to forget about the teas.
Oh.
Yes, in fact, we haven't, and we photographed a whole bunch of teas and lattes just yesterday and 2 days ago, so we are not forgetting. Thank you, Sally, though. Let's see what else. The other superfoods that the book is going to cover, and, you know, please incorporate that into your life. I'm not saying just that you don't have to wait for the book. You can start doing things right away, right? Is liver. You know, I know it's not everybody's friend, especially in North America. People are just terrified by liver. I'm getting some hearts flying, so I hope that's because of the liver. Yeah, if you go to my website, hormonesbalance.com, and on the right side there is a little search button, look for pate, P-A-T-E. The Easy French pate, really wonderful recipe, has converted a lot of liver haters to liver lovers. It's really tasty, and it is one of the superfoods. I can't tell you, like, in terms of Tina is saying, I think she hates liver. Well, get over it, because it's so rich in vitamin B12, B1, B6. It's got selenium in it. I mean, vitamin A is through the roof. Alex is saying the French here approves. Yay! Because most Americans don't know how to cook their livers. That's why you guys hate it. You grew up with parents who overcooked it and never add any seasoning to it, and that's the reason why. Trust me, if you cook it properly, it's amazing. Sabrina is saying, I love pate. Awesome! Great. So what else we have here? Seaweed that I talked about just now. Coconut, you guys saw. Salmon is another one, really great superfood to add on to your lifestyle. And I want to stress here, this is wild salmon, not farmed. And because of the pollution that's going on and the fear of that, I would recommend to do it about 2-3 times a week. Citrus vegetables, citrus, all the citrus fruit. And really, it's the zest that matters the most. So when you squeeze a lemon or lime into your salad or soup, do not throw away the skin. Keep it zested, add it in as well, because that's where the substance of limonene. I'm watching the series now. Are you talking, Tara is saying, hi Tara, are you talking about the Thyroid Secret series? I'm going to talk about that in a second. Let me just finish this. Garlic, onion, berries, and Brazil nuts, right? So those are the 20 superfoods you're going to find in heaps in the cookbook. In the meantime, start adding them into your diet as well. So, yeah, so somebody mentioned watching the series today. Are you talking about the Thyroid series? I think one of my team members, Candy, if you're listening to this live for us, can you post the link to the Thyroid Secret series? And if I think it's already posted on top. So yeah, the Thyroid Secret is a great documentary my friend Dr. Isabella Wentz put together. It launched on the global premiere on the 1st of March. And today is the 3rd, right? So today is day 3. And today is actually the cooking segment that she and I did in her kitchen. Yeah, so I recommend for you, if you haven't seen it yet, do sign up and make sure you tune in. Caitlin is saying, I can't eat lemons, arthritis flares. Yeah, although I love them. How likely is it to introduce them? So Caitlin, I don't know what's going on, whether it's because you have a histamine issue, that's why you're reacting to it, which is not uncommon. You know, I won't obsess about it. There's a lot of other foods that I think you heard me mention. So focus on what you can eat rather than be, worrying about things that you can eat, right? So that's one way of keeping our sanity. But, you know, if it's a histamine problem, then you've got to rebalance your gut to get rid of the histamine intolerance. I don't really talk so much about histamine because I'm not an expert in it. It's pretty complex healing process, and I recommend for you to check out my friend Yasmina's site called healinghistamine.com. Yeah, so we just posted the link for Thyroid Secret. It's basically a bit link with a Thyroid Secret in it. Yeah, let me just do a quick, I'm gonna get some water. By the way, you guys, you know about the Thyroid Secret documentary, I just want to share with you, one of the things that has been kind of hard to promote it and tell people about is because a lot of people, I feel, have been told by their doctor they don't have a thyroid problem, and so they shut it off. They go like, I don't have a thyroid problem, I'm not going to watch this documentary. The problem is that according to Isabella, and I agree with that, 30% of the American population has a subclinical version of low thyroid function, which basically means that think about like all your friends, all your girlfriends around in your environment, right? Most of them are women. Think about the population here, and what's the, you know, every 1 out of 3 of them might be having a thyroid problem. Think of it this way, right? And many of them, we told the doctors they don't have an issue. And so we shut off our thing going like, I don't have a thyroid issue. But I've got weight issue, I can't lose weight, I'm forgetting things, my hair is falling out, my skin is really dry, right? You know, I'm fatigued all the time. I need like, hello there from the UK, Jacqueline. I need like 2, you know, cups of coffee to get me going, right? And the list goes on and on and on. So if you have friends like that who have those symptoms, who've been told they don't have a thyroid problem, please tell them to tune in to at least 1 or 2 episodes. It doesn't cost them anything, and listen to what she's got to say, because it might be really life-changing, you know? Isabella has been getting emails from thousands of people within the 2 days, yesterday I saw her post, they got thousands of emails from people and comments on their videos, just saying that, you know, women have been sitting and crying and watching this because it's been so apparent to them. They've been having screaming thyroid symptoms in spite of being told for the past decade by their doctors they don't have a thyroid problem. So I talked about it last week, why there is an issue, right, is poor diagnostic tools, the ranges are not right that are being used. I don't want to talk about it again this week, but listen to the symptoms. A good physician will honor your symptoms more than just lab work, right? So really important stuff. Anyway, let's see, what else do I want to talk about? Oh, I want to read something out, guys, to you. So if you think that, you know, this whole thing about the superfoods that I mentioned is kind of like, okay, whatever, you know, like I use some of them, maybe not all, like, you know, this food's really working. These are like common foods, like I need supplements and I need to spend like $500 a month to feel good, right? I mean, a lot of people think that way. And it doesn't have to be that way, because I can tell you one thing, if you really load up on these foods every day in your diet, it is like taking really good quality supplements. They're much more bioavailable to the body as compared to the synthetic stuff that you are putting, that we are putting in our bodies through supplements. So I want to read out to you a short story from Caitlin, who wrote to us. By the way, most of the time, I don't ask for stories and testimonials from people. And I just want to read to you a story of somebody who's changed her diet and what results she got, right? So just in case you're still a little bit skeptical, or you're still like, I can't really give up dairy, you know, like I really miss my cheese, right? Well, you know, I say, you want to rethink that, because I want to read the story to you, and you decide whether changing a diet is worth it or not. So I don't really ask for testimonials. We typically get emails from women telling us about their changes they've been experiencing, right? So Kristen, this is with her permission, of course, right? Kristen Adams is her name. And she said, Magdalena, the truth is, when I signed up for Cooking for Balance on December 1st, I really didn't think that there was anything I could get out of the course that I already didn't know. I have extensive background in clean eating and even grew up with two nutritionists in my family. I really loved the layout and presentation. It gave me motivation to go through with such intense elimination diet. I decided to give the program 100% for 3 months to see if I could get a shift in some areas of my life that were causing me a lot of pain and disease. And kudos to Kristen for doing that, because, you know, it's commitment, right? And she's committed to it, and it's paying off. So hear this. Then she says, I've been eating clean for a long time. And trust me, I know most of you are going to say the same thing. I've been eating really clean. Well, welcome to the club. Kristen's been eating really clean, and she was very sick, nevertheless, right? So she's been eating clean really for a long time, but never eliminated this many foods from my diet. I've been strict and aware of what, and I've never been so strict and aware of what I'm eating. And I have very rarely cheated in the past 2 months. This is how my life has changed. Oh my God, incredible, all in caps. My cycle normalized. I always had like a 24 to 26 day cycle. This month is the first time 28-day cycle. Yes. I am virtually pain-free. I had extremely painful, debilitating cramps for the last 15 years. Walking out in the middle of the night, dry heaving, missing work, canceling plans, doubled over, passing out, wow, etc. I was diagnosed with endometriosis by various MDs but refused the surgery or hormone treatments. For the past 15 years, I've been in moderate to severe abdominal menstrual pain on and off every month. This last month, I had cramping only on day 14 and day 28, but that was it. Yes. My acne is clearing up too. I had uncontrollable acne since my miscarriage last September, even eating well, and because of my work, having access to every trick in the book, tool, and product at my fingertips. My face is about 75% clear now and getting better every day. Yes. I lost 10 pounds. This is a really nice bonus. I stopped clearing my throat. For the past few years, I have constantly clearing my throat with phlegm after every meal. I would get worse when it would when I would eat out. I couldn't pinpoint what was the trigger, but it all disappeared. Yes. A bump on my lip vanished. I had a mysterious bump on my lip for the last 2 years that looked like a large broken blood vessel. It vanished within the first 40 days. Yes. Bikini line cyst disappeared. I was getting very painful cysts on my bikini line. The two I had went away within the first 3 weeks. No more after that. Yes. My hair growing faster. Yes. My lips aren't chapped anymore. Yes. It was the very time-consuming at first to buy all the new sets of ingredients and cook so many new recipes. But I had a system and I found the favorite ones. I am so thrilled, Magdalena. Thank you for creating this course and doing such a beautiful job in these videos. So happy I followed my intuition to sign up and take action. I just turned 40 years today. What a wonderful gift this has been. Grateful to all of you, right? So, I mean, those are true stories. And, you know, if you commit to making changes the way Kristen has done it, and incorporate the foods that I talked about, do the elimination diet, just so many incredible things have been happening. I mean, can you see how long that email is? And we haven't even asked for it. You know, it's something that people write to us because it's life-changing. A lot of times we run from doctor to doctor, looking at from one symptom to another. When I got a skin problem, I go see a dermatologist. Bea is saying, yes, definitely takes commitment and self-love to do that. Absolutely, it really does. You know, when we have a skin problem, we run to the dermatologist, right? When we have, you know, arthritis, we run to, you know, whatever, is it radiologist, rheumatologist, right? You know, when we have a thyroid problem, we see a endocrinologist, right? And the interesting thing is that when you change your diet, suddenly all these symptoms start going away. I can't tell you how many times I've worked with people who had their, you know, all the most mysterious symptoms just disappearing when they changed their diet. And then they stop chasing and running from one doctor to another just because they all disappeared. And you just have to give it time and make a commitment. So I'm curious here, for those of you who have never done the elimination diet, who here is committing to at least planting? So today I'm planting the seed. You know, maybe you're not ready to cut out certain foods. Can be an emotionally shifting experience. You might not be ready for this right now, but if you were to give yourself time, and Sabrina is saying, yeah, I remember that, going from doctor to doctor. Yeah. So I'm planting the seed here today, and I'm curious to know who here is committing to setting up a date where you want to give the elimination diet a try. And if you want to know how to do it, go to cookingforbalance.com. That's the free workshop, and I talk about it there. How to do the elimination diet. What are the foods that you're going to cut out that are known to be the biggest suspects when it comes to, you know, just triggering a lot of inflammation, which then leads to a lot of hormonal imbalances. So let me know who here is going to be doing that. We're coming to spring, is coming to an end of winter. We're kind of going into spring when there's, Sabrina saying she's amazed how foods can really help to rebalance the body. We're like big time. Do you guys want to go and take a look at the board and just to see how it's progressing? Because I'm kind of curious. And I have to give the final okay on the picture. Oh, it's coming together so beautifully. So let me show you the, hold on. So Stephanie is saying, I feel so nervous to do it. I don't want to fail. So that's an interesting point, Stephanie, and thank you for sharing it. This is a common issue that we have from a lot of women who will share that as well. Let me ask you a question. What will what's the what's the upside? What if it does work? What if you don't fail? What would you gain from that? What would you be doing you're currently not doing because you're sick? Like, how would it change in terms of your energy levels, your mental clarity? What would be the things that you'll be doing because you're not, which you're not doing today because you're not well? How about that? It's a little reframe. Okay, so I want to show you a little. So this is what it looks like on the table, right? When we were photographing things, and it looks pretty, but it's really the magic of it is through the lens. How about that? Ah, what do you guys think? I think it's beautiful.
Superfoods.
Superfoods. It's looking beautiful.
Awesome.
So, are we done with the composition?
No, we're adding, and then we should be done. Yeah, we're adding a few extra ingredients in there.
Okay.
We should be getting close.
Okay.
The
so
ghee.
The
and
ghee.
then,
The ghee
yeah,
goes in the middle. Like, the
in
ghee.
the spoon.
The ghee is gonna go on the spoon. Yeah.
Like a nice little glob in there. Mm-hmm.
Sally Baker is saying, "Oh my God, this is so beautiful."
Yay! Awesome.
Somebody else
Thank
saying,
you.
"Love it." Yep. Yeah, but that's what happens when you a lot of stars or hearts are flying in. Yeah, that's what happens when you work with somebody who's really talented and they have their own genius. We all have our own genius in some ways. Cheryl's saying, I've already been eliminating gluten, dairy, and sugar. Awesome. Look at the other foods as well, especially if you're not feeling 100% yet. Okay, so let's see. What else do I want to cover? I want to keep those calls fairly short, and let's see what other questions you guys have for me that you might want to, you would want me to answer today. Next Friday, I'm gonna be in Seattle. I'm going there to get stem cell therapy. Sabrina is saying, I love food styling. Yeah, it's not easy. I have to say, I've got a new appreciation for food styling. Photography is actually fairly simple compared to food styling. It's really the beauty of it comes largely from that. Yeah, so what questions do you have? Can you go back to ghee? I'm not sure if I understand the question. Is that a question or is it a request? So next week I'm going to be in Seattle, transmitting from there. I'm going there to get stem cells done on my hips. Quite an extensive procedure, but I want to give it a shot. I don't want to get hip replacement. Do you have recipes using different flours? Yeah, so go to hormonesbalance.com, look at under recipes. A lot of recipes there use different flours, including tiger nut flour, buckwheat flour. All my recipes, of course, are gluten-free, egg-free, free of dairy, and all the other nasties. So, yeah. All right, you guys. I think I'm going to call it a day. And Alex saying, is ghee okay with a diet? Yeah, if it's, like I mentioned, free of dairy, it's triple filtered, and it actually says on the packaging is dairy-free, then you're good. It's a wonderful fat to add onto your diet. In fact, in Ayurvedic medicine, ghee is one of the staple foods, really, right? So, all right, you guys, lovely to have you here connected, and I will see you next Friday. And so forth, make it a wonderful weekend. I feel kind of a little depleted, I have to say, after 12 days of nonstop work. So I'm going to do something really nice for myself this weekend. Probably go for a massage, get some outdoor time. I've realized how much I miss the outdoors. And, it's just connecting with the trees and getting fresh air. I've been indoors the whole time, and my body is really responding to that. So I'm going to honor that and get out this weekend. Even if it's raining, I don't care. I'm going out. All right, you guys. I'll see you next Friday. Ciao for now.